Hi everybody, we're excited to be here at Finovate today to show you some of the cool things that we're doing at Socure. My name is Sunil Naidu, I'm the founder and CEO of Socure, and this is Johnny Ayers, our Director of Business Development. So Socure is an identity proofing company, and our Social Biometrics solution puts a novel social twist on real-time identity verification and identity fraud detection. As you might know, over the last several years, the rise of social media and the fact that social networks are essentially trying to monetize the information in social media for marketing and advertising purposes has resulted in a lot of our private information becoming public. It's no wonder then that identity fraud is growing faster than world trade in some countries. And in fact, last year in the US alone, financial institutions such as yours lost in excess of $48 billion in identity fraud alone. In fact, every single financial institution we're working with and that we've spoken to today is losing in excess of $100 million per year per institution. And that's despite the technologies that have been put in place over the last decade. So, what is social biometrics? Is it just a marketing kind of a spiel term? It isn't. Social biometrics, as it implies, is actually a unique user behavior, except that it's not something any user has to relearn to do or change their existing way that they go about living. You see, as we go about interacting with our friends and family and our peers and followers on different types of social networks, what's really happening behind the scenes is a process of attestation. Because while it's easy for me to steal personal information about you and create fake accounts on your behalf or take over existing accounts, it becomes extremely hard when you factor in the network effects to go about identity proofing that individual to show that that individual is authentic. So our company's data scientists have basically created machine learning algorithms and linked data processing technology that allows us to mash up structured and unstructured data, both from the open web, from Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as Twitter, and offline public data sources, in order to tell you with certainty that a particular individual is in fact who they say they are. So I want to show you how our technology is actually used using a customer and partner of ours, Movin. But before we do that, I'm going to introduce you to Lisa Vizan. Lisa's a good friend of mine, and she's actually friended a whole bunch of you people, attendees here yesterday. Many of you accepted her friend connections. As you can see, Lisa's got a very rich profile. She's got a whole bunch of friends. She gets invites from people who already know her friends. It's a very rich, well-connected graph. The account is fairly old, and so on. So we're going to show you Movin's website right now. So this is Movin. Movin's a former Finovate award winner, and it's a new banking experience that combines the best of mint.com type of feedback to allow me to save more effectively, as well as social banking features that we all come to expect in the new mobile and social world that we live in. As you can see on the main website, Movin allows people to create new accounts with Facebook, or the traditional way, using forms-based registration where I have to type in user ID and password. So let's see what happens when Lisa tries to establish a new account at Movin using the traditional way of signing up for a service that most of your institutions use today. So initially, Lisa's going to provide her email address and her first name and last name and pick a password. And once that's submitted, the bank subjects Lisa to KYC checks. So she now has to provide PII, personal information, so that the bank can go about identity proofing her and proving out her authenticity. So Lisa's going to provide some details about where she lives, her name and address, and her date of birth and mobile number, and so on. These are the types of checks we're all used to when we end up signing up for a bank account, for example, or a credit card. Now, instantaneously, the application takes Lisa to this walled garden. Why wasn't Lisa taken to the welcome page? She's allowed to go in and look at the services Movin offers, but she's not allowed to set up a bank account. So let's look behind the scenes of what's going on. So Socure exposes a set of secure APIs that can be embedded into your mobile or web applications with as little as 2 lines of code. When that line of code is integrated into your business logic, your application passes information about the user who's interacting with you. And our system takes that information, processes it semantically, enriches the data, applies it against a model, and gives you an authenticity score. This is ground truth score. Larger numbers are better in our system, and a score of 3 with a high confidence rating means that Lisa is in fact fake. So, is Lisa in the house tonight? There you go, that's Lisa. So let's see what happens when we try to log in with social login. I'm an existing customer of Move-Ins. I'm just going to use my Facebook login. It's a one-click process, and I'm into Move-In. I'm able to see my account right now. So as you can see, the difference here is the system basically says for the score, I get a 9 instead of a 3. So I'm authentic, and again, with high confidence. So far I've shown you how the technology can help you do identity proofing and remediate fraud risk for new and existing accounts. But what about payments? So for the very first time at Finovate, we're actually going to show you how you can actually use the authenticity of the individual to remediate any kind of fraud risk in peer-to-peer payments and other forms of payments. Let's see what happens when we try to send money over email to Lisa. Most of us are used to this feature in our mobile applications. And as you can see, instantaneously, the system is able to say that there is some sort of risk. And again, if we switch to the console view, we will actually see that, in this case, there's a low fraud score, which again, higher numbers are better in our system, and so there is risk in the system. So as you can see, without any change in user behavior, using social as an additive signal to the technologies that you have in place today, we're able to improve the ability of your institutions to remediate identity fraud risk. That saves you hundreds of millions of fraud loss, which impacts your top-line revenue. It improves your false positives and negative rates, which basically also impacts your top-line revenue. It remediates the need to contact customer service, again, impacting your revenue. Thank you very much. This is Socure. Come and see us at the booth.